We've been waiting since Leon Rose took over the front office in 2020 for a massive trade, and it finally happened. The Knicks gave up Bojan Bogdanovic, Shake Milton, Miamide Diakite, 4 unprotected first-round picks, 1 protected first-round pick, a pick swap for Mikal Bridges, and Keita Bates Diop, I believe is how you pronounce it. The reason why this trade is so significant for the Knicks is because they sort of reworked it to where now they're taking back less money than they're sending out, because the Knicks, they did not want to get that hard cap at the first apron. The Knicks now are approximately 15 million below it, which means that they can re-sign Precious Achiuwa and then use that 5.2 million taxpayer mid-level exception on a free agent center. I don't think the Knicks personally are going to do that. There just isn't a lot of high quality centers left. All of the good ones have already been either re-signed or signed by another team in free agency. Precious Achiuwa is our best bet, and I've been saying this for days now. Yeah, he might not be the best guy available, but he's 24 years old. He shot 52% last season, 8 points, 7 boards, a block. He would be a great backup behind Randall, and then our backup behind Mitchell Robinson. I almost said Isaiah Hartenstein. I'm just so used to saying that to this point. But Mitchell Robinson's now our starting center, obviously. Behind him, Jericho Sims, his team option was picked up last Saturday. I don't think he's going to be a part of a rotation, though. He's just way too raw at this point, underdeveloped. Yes, he can rebound. He can jump very high, but he isn't relied upon, right? That's the reason why he had a career low in minutes last season for the Knicks. So I do think it's going to end up being a trade. I think it's going to be Nick Richards or Walker Kessler. The issue is that we don't have a lot to give the Jazz for Walker because we traded all of these unprotected picks for Mikal Bridges. So I don't expect Walker Kessler, but at the same time, we didn't expect Mikal Bridges, and we ended up getting him. But I think Nick Richards is the perfect fit because he's 26 years old. He, of course, is coming off a career year. He can defend the rim. He can block shots. He's efficient around the rim. He's just a guy that's not going to make us a worse basketball team when he comes down to the floor. And he has a lot of starts under his belt. So if Mitchell Robinson were to get injured, then we could rely on Richards in that role. But talking about the Knicks, the reason why they're in such a terrific spot right now is because of the age of their core, right? You look at a team like Philadelphia, Joel Embiid isn't getting any younger. Paul George is 34 years old. Those guys, they deal with injury concerns. Mikal Bridges played in all 82 games last year. There was a year where he played in 83 games, yet alone 82. OG, absolutely, and Mitchell Robinson are guys that I think are serious question marks. Philadelphia is relying on 3 players, Maxey, Embiid, and Paul George. The Knicks are relying on, 8 different guys? OG, Robinson, absolutely, are injury-prone players, but the Knicks have Brunson, they've got Devo, Hart, they've got now Mikal Bridges, they have Miles McBride. So this team, they've got a lot more depth than Philly. Philly, in terms of their big 3, you could certainly say is better than the Knicks' big 3. Randall, Brunson, Bridges. I would say Embiid, Maxey, and Paul George is better. First of all, that doesn't matter because 1, Embiid and Paul George can't stay healthy. But 2, even if those guys could stay healthy, it wouldn't come down to the big 3 versus the big 3. It's going to come down to who has more depth. The last 6 teams to win an NBA championships were a different team. So not to say the Celtics can't win it again, but the numbers speak for themselves, right? It's more than likely a new team will win it, so just why not it be us, right? And I do think the Knicks are in the best situation to do that because they've got Jalen Brunson, who's an absolute superstar. Mikal Bridges can guard multiple positions. He's also a very highly effective and efficient scorer. OG Anunoby, when him and Randall played together with Brunson, the Knicks were unstoppable in January, right? Julius Randle is a guy who was coming off of a career year and then he got injured. I mean, Randle was averaging 24-9 on 47%. If you look at the last month and a half of the season, those numbers were even better. Randle did not get up to a good start. The Knicks overall didn't get up to a good start, including Jalen Brunson. So that was a large reason why the team struggled. But then once they started to figure out, especially once they got OG, because our defense to start the year was atrocious and OG completely flipped it. I mean, we went from a middle of the pack defensive team, maybe even a bad defensive team, to the best with OG. That's his ability as a defender. Why do you think the Pacers beat us in the playoffs? Because OG was injured. Pascal Siakam, all of a sudden, now he's getting buckets and finding his spots. Yeah, he's being defended by a 6'4" Josh Hart. I love Josh Hart, but he's not going to be able to guard Siakam. He just has too much size and length on him. Mitchell Robinson, to me, and I know I say this every video, is a wild card. He's a mystery. But if he can stay healthy, then he's going to be a guy who's going to lead the league in offensive rebounds. He's going to average about 2.5, 3 blocks a game. Mitch has also been extremely focused and motivated. This is something that I've wanted out of him the entire offseason, was realizing that, hey, look, you're going into the season as the starting center. Let's get it done, because we know Mitch can be one of the best. And I do stand on that. I think Mitch, with his ability to defend, to rebound, to catch lobs, to screen, I mean, all of that makes him extremely valuable, especially going up against Giannis Antetokounmpo, going up against Joel Embiid, who are the top threats in the East, guys that can get to the rim at will. So if Mitch is there winning for them, he's going to make it easier on everyone else, because defense is a team thing, right? Yeah, OG and Bridges are elite one-on-one defenders, but having Mitchell Robinson, who's an elite rim protector, to protect a guy like a Jalen Brunson and a Julius Randle. I mean, Brunson's an above average defender statistically, but you want to take as much pressure off of Randle and Brunson defensively as you can. So having two elite guys that can switch on the perimeter, and then having Mitch is just huge. And then you have Josh Hart and Dante DiVincenzo coming off the bench, two good perimeter defenders. Mal McBride's a great perimeter defender. And then, of course, outside of that, it's going to be kind of where we're looking at Precious, whatever backup center we bring in. Jericho Sims is going to be there. Tyler Kolek, I do think, is going to play a role. I know Tibbs doesn't really like rookies, but Kolek isn't a traditional rookie. He's 23 years old. He's a great catch-and-shoot three-point shooter. The dude just doesn't even hit the rim, man. I love watching him practice. And then you've got a guy like right now our depth chart isn't exactly updated, but of course we brought in Bates Diop. We have Ariel Oporti, I believe is how you pronounce it. We drafted him at the end of the second round. I mean, like, a lot of these guys I don't think are going to play much of a role. They're developmental players, but who we definitely know is going to play is Brunson, Bridges, OG, Randle, Mitchell Robinson. That's 5. McBride 6, Devo 7, 8 is Hart. And then it's going to be Precious as 9, assuming we bring it back. 10 is going to be like Nick Richards. Let's say we bring him in. And then Jericho Sims, I don't think is going to be a part of rotation. He's just going to be a guy that if there's an injury can kind of step in, and he has experience starting. Tyler Kolek, do not quote me on this, but I do think he's actually going to play. I really do. And the Knicks did just give him over $9 million for 4 years. So like he's going to probably play. So that's 11. And then maybe we finish out the roster with one more player. Maybe, hey, the stud out of France that we drafted ends up, I'm looking at Pacome Dadier. Maybe he's a guy that actually gets some minutes. That would be fun because he can shoot the basketball. So that's 12 right there, right? I would love to see the young guys get in at the end of a rotation. I just don't know if that's a Tibbs thing to do. But we'll have to wait and see, because maybe he's like, oh, well, at the end of the year, our guys were getting injured and they were getting gas. So I don't know. Tibbs has never been like that, though. So I think that's kind of just unrealistic expectations. But, I mean, I'm looking at, something that will fly under the radar is Bates Diop. Back in 2022-23, he averaged 10 points on 51% shooting, 4 boards, 2 assists, a steal, and shot 39% from 3. He was 0.1% off from being at 40% if you were to round up. So 21.7 minutes, 67 games. He's a guy that on a minimum contract is absolutely going to play some sort of role for the Knicks. I mean, to be making that low of money and to be able to give the Knicks something is huge, because again, they're paying their core a bunch of money, man. I mean, to this point, basically everyone's under contract. So besides Precious, he's like the one guy we're trying to figure it out right now, but everyone else is. So